Everyone, and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I'm your host for the evening, Craig Woodard Sr., and we have our co-host joining us, Deontay Cooley, and this is episode 51. Okay, starting off, I know you guys hear the background. I am sitting back on my lanai, as we can do down here in Florida because, the weather's kind of nice. But D, it's been raining all day, so that's what everybody hears in the background. You hear a little bit of rain. It's not static. It's just a little bit of rain. It's been raining. It's crazy down here in Florida. When it rains, man, does it rain. But uh, usually, usually it'll start raining, and within 20 minutes it'll be dry and humid. You know what I mean? But it's been raining all day down here, man.
You got to get some
Hey,
of
and you
that
just got
snow.
back from bowling, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You want
sir.
to talk about your game?
It was all right, man. I'm in a little family bowling league, so we bowl every Sunday. And I was actually running late. I was in the salon all day with my boys, man. So today just seemed like one of them days where it's like, it was more than 24 hours in today. You know what I mean?
I
But
hear
for the
you.
most part, yeah, I enjoy bowling with the family. I always do. A little something leisure activity to do. I try to keep myself balanced so I ain't wrapped up too much into one thing
Yeah.
and overwhelmed with myself. So
That's what I wanted you to talk about that too. Because you mentioned that last show, and we talked about being involved in a number of different things with um, how consumed we have been with our advocacy work for justice for cello. You got to free your mind. You got to do some other things. You've been real heavy in working out and doing a lot of videos and tips and interviewing people and stuff, man. And I've been following that. That's been really cool. Has that been also kind of therapeutic for you to kind of have a little time away? So we got, you're working out. We got the walking the dog in the morning times as well. You've been doing a lot of on top of a number of different things,
right.
but those things seem to bring you a lot of pleasure.
Absolutely, man. Going to the gym is definitely relieving for me. I've been going to the gym consistently now 3+ years. So it turned into a habit. That's like a routine. So when I do that, it's days where if I'm having a rough day, I'll go twice. Yeah. Then we post the videos. The interviews be just like when I'm in the gym, there's so many people in there. You know what I mean? It'd be so exciting. Like I be feeling like I'm at the club, and I'd be wanting like, who do I talk to? I can interact with. That was just a way for me to engage with people as well because I know I present as if I'm unapproachable. So I feel like if I step up to people and speak to them, it'll be more likely to be open to having a conversation with me. Then the dog walk thing was just literally just talking about health. You know what I mean? Every single day as I walk the dog, I started talking about physical health, because I go to the gym every day. Then emotional health, mental health, you know what I mean? That's important to me. And then just different categories of health all the way till we even got to the point to where, we was talking about unity, and stuff like that. And I feel like it's important for us as people to put positive messages out into the environment, even when we're going through rough times, because we don't know how everybody's coping with what they have going on. So when I be putting the good stuff I put on social media, like with my devotional and talking about God and exercising and stuff like that, it's more to uplift and encourage people to find other things to do, find balance in your life, because it's easy to become consumed or overly consumed with trauma, with pain, and you can traumatize yourself or re-affect yourself. So it's more or less me just I do a lot of different things. I do a lot of serious things. I also do some leisure activities. And what's crazy is me and my son today was just talking about relaxing. That's one thing that I don't know how to do is to relax, man. I always be feeling like I need to be doing something.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's awesome, man. And I know you read the Bible a lot too, first thing in the morning, and I know that sets your day up as well. Listen, I wanted to give some props out here. 2 days ago it was Malcolm. Malcolm's like our leader, man. Our big brother, Malcolm Pulliam. It was his birthday. He turned 53 the other day. Last night he was honored at the Men of Victory Unsung Heroes Dinner. He won an award down there. He, along with Chet Moffitt and Remley Tate, and Malcolm has been doing some really good advocacy work, as everyone knows. Has been at all the city and county council meetings, speaking up for justice as we move into our conversations about justice for cello. So just big props to Big Brother Malcolm. I love the fact that one of my favorite lines that Malcolm uses a couple times in his speeches is they named me Malcolm for a reason, you know, and that resonates a lot, man. He's a strong black man and has a lot to say and will fight for injustice anywhere. And this Wednesday, coming up at 7 p.m., as you know, on Facebook and YouTube, he'll be along with James Wilburn, who is Sonia Macy's father, she was killed in Illinois. He'll be on a podcast, the West Coalition's West Wednesday podcast. So you guys can tune in on Facebook on West Wednesday, or on YouTube and check out Malcolm. He's been on there before, but he's steady spreading the word, and he'll be preaching and talking about justice for cello on there on Wednesday. So big ups to Malcolm Pulliam for doing this thing. And I know you had a lot of great things to say about Malcolm, and it was touching to see your post the other day when you said, the Lord sent you a big brother this late in life. Talk about that, man. Your relationship with Malcolm and the advocacy work that he's been doing.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. Malcolm's birthday was the 5th, Friday. Me and Malcolm, we spent a little bit of time together, but yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to Malcolm. Kudos to Malcolm. He got the award. He got an award the other day. He sent me a picture of the trophy, man. That thing looked like one of them college bowl joints, man. I seen that, like, yeah. But yeah, me and Malcolm, we've grown like I'm like a brotherhood, type of relationship too. Like, and as I'm having conversations with Malcolm, I don't think that he realized what he was signing up for when he first started saying, "Hey, this is wrong. We need to do something." And I think like that's where leaders are made. You know what I mean? When you see something wrong and you feel the need to want to do something about it, and you do it, and you consistently do it. Like Malcolm has been the most consistent person when it comes to seeking justice for cello. He's been reaching out to people all over the nation. Him and I were on a podcast a while back. We was on a Zoom call one night with some Black Panthers to like 1 in the morning. You know what I mean? But yeah, Malcolm's an admiral dude, man. He's a stand-up dude. And I made the post about him because, and I even said it on my dog walk. Like, so in Erie, Pennsylvania, we all know each other. You know what I mean? We all know one another, but we really don't know each other. So I heard of Malcolm, knew who Malcolm was. He got children around my age or younger than me. But when I decided to run for city council, he reached out to me like, "Yo, bro, whatever you need, I got you. Let me get one of them signs. Let me get one of them t-shirts." Like Malcolm pulled up on me. He was all in. And then when Cello was killed, you know what I mean? And Malcolm, I seen him being active on social media. I reached out like, "Yo, bro, how can I get involved? How can I help?" And since then, like him and I have just been building, connecting, and growing. And like Malcolm he's not playing, man. He's very serious about seeking justice for cello. He's not letting up. I mean, that man have been at politicians' heads, the district attorney's heads. He done said things about the police. He said things about the county executive. Like, that's one thing I will say is Malcolm, and he said it from the door, like, I'm not playing. I mean business about this. And he really meant that. And I'm glad that he has been doing every single thing that he's been doing. And I'm glad to see him step into this role as a leader within our community, because it's needed, and we need an authentic person. We need a genuine person, somebody who's not afraid to say what's on their mind and that's not afraid to speak to the masses. And he's not afraid to be a man. You know what I mean? So that's why I made the post for Malcolm. I'm glad that he got the award to be the recipient. I'm glad that he's getting all the recognition that he's receiving. And I think it's important that we make sure that we let him know how we feel about the things that he's doing, how he's having an impact on our community. And I told him the other day, like, we don't give flowers to people until they pass away. So I be sending Malcolm messages like, "Yo, bro, you my big brother, man. You a part of my family." Like, I'll make sure I stay in contact with Malcolm and let him know how much I appreciate him, because I've been doing, I guess, stuff like this for quite some time. But like, he really didn't know what this was gonna turn into for him. So he keeps saying like, "I'm just a regular dude, man. I'm just a regular dude." And I'm like, "Yo, bro, you gotta stop that, because people gonna be looking for you. You're gonna be getting calls about any and everything, and people are gonna be asking you, what should I do next?" And he like, "Yo, I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to recognize that now." So I'm just glad that I can be alongside him and follow his lead. when it comes to doing the things that he's doing, because he definitely didn't kept me on my square. He didn't kept a lot of us on our square, and he's pulled the community together from a generational thing, from ethnicity things, from different walks of life. Like, people are supporting and following Malcolm and going wherever he's at, and we marching and we step with Malcolm. So yeah, I got nothing but great things to say about Malcolm, and I'm glad to be a part of his life, and I'm glad that he's a part of mine.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be, considered family to him as well, man. I've known him since I was little, man, and he's just been a stand-up guy even back in the day, man. And it's funny because you don't know how people will perceive you when you become an adult, and you don't know what your life's work looks like until you become an adult and you start doing things that you like to, you start doing things that you need to, and you start doing things that you want to, and that makes a person. It makes the fabric of their being. And Malcolm has just always been a good, genuine dude, man, and always wanting to give a helping hand. And a lot of people are seeing his efforts, and he's getting rewarded for it and stuff. So very, very pleased to see that trophy was the bomb, man. It did look like the NCAA championship trophy.
Yeah, that joint was crazy. He sent me a picture of it. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, put it on the mantle,
Right.
So awesome, and hopefully some more stuff will come down the line. And you're in that same realm as well, cuz I mean, you won an award as well. We don't set out to do things to win awards. We set out to advocate and do what's right. And if other people can recognize those things along the way, so be it, man. So be it. So hats off to both you and to Malcolm for leading the charge and keeping things going. And both of you are extremely vocal. My nickname for you is you're the voice of the people. You know what I mean? And so, when Deontay Cooley's at the mic, he's got something to say, you better listen. And it is the same thing with Malcolm. You got to listen to what he's saying, and he's going to be there for you regardless. So I'm blessed to be associated with you both. Speaking of advocacy work, we're on day 158 for Justice for Cello. Before we get into some of the things that I wanted to kind of go over, I want to read something here. I was doing some research earlier. Let me pull this up real quick. So I've been trying to follow this initial case out in Fresno, California. The first time that a parole agent shot and killed a parolee in the country was on December 24th of 2024. I want to read this through. And I'm not making an excuse for our DA, but I want to read a few of the particulars here, especially the part at the end, and then we can kind of talk about that part at the end as well. So it says the investigation into the December 2024 shooting death of parolee Jeremy Sanchez by a parole agent in Fresno is ongoing. Now keep in mind, this was December 24th of 2024. It's still ongoing with no final decision on criminal charges publicly announced as of yet. The incident occurred on Christmas Eve, December 24, 2024, during a home visit by a California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation parole officer. A physical altercation broke out between the officer and the 26-year-old parolee, leading the agent to fire his weapon, fatally striking Sanchez. The parole officer, who sustained minor injuries, attempted life-saving measures and is cooperating with the investigation. Multiple agencies are involved in reviewing the case. California Department of Justice, DOJ, under state law AB 1506, the California DOJ is required to investigate all incidents of officer-involved shootings that result in the death of an unarmed civilian. A lawyer for Sanchez's family claims he was unarmed, which triggered the DOJ's involvement. Fresno Police Department. The local police department is leading the initial investigation into the incident as the shooting occurred within city limits. CDCR, Deadly Force Review Board. The Deadly Force Review Board will conduct its own administrative review of the incident at the conclusion of the criminal investigation. Um, Once the California DOJ's investigation is complete, the findings will be turned to an independent review to determine if any criminal charges against the agent are warranted. So, um, they have a process that involves a number of different departments that are doing the investigation. The District of Justice is involved. It's stated that they are involved in any officer shooting with a civilian. Um, we have had three statements by District Attorney Elizabeth Hers. Um, we have heard that the investigation is with the Pennsylvania State Police, and they will turn it over to her to decide if there are criminal charges or if the shooting was justified. Now, I don't want to get into arguing state versus state, and I know that's how this actually looks, but it seems like California has a number of processes for this particular case to go through to make sure that the decision is just. On our part, do we know anything? She hasn't said anything about the process. Like, her statement could have had, the next steps. If there is another review board that looks at this, is the district, the DOJ involved in Cello's review? Do we know in the state of Pennsylvania? And I know you're not too familiar with the parole board side, but as a state employee, have you heard of any of similar tactics that we have in Pennsylvania that would be a reason why this investigation could be taking as long as the investigation concerning Sanchez out in Fresno, California?
Honestly, no. I mean, I think that would be more or less me speculating as like offering legal. So no, because this is the first or the second time it's ever happened in the United States, first time in Pennsylvania. So
Mhm.
again, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take longer. But I
Yeah,
like the fact that you identified that there's information that is being presented to
yeah,
at least show where it's at, what the steps are. And I'm also interested to see how the district attorney responds to that resolution that was passed because you realize that was on Wednesday. So
yes,
if we go 5 working days, for her to respond that they submitted it on Wednesday or Thursday, we got Thursday, we have Friday, then we have Monday, which to be day number 3.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I'm wondering like what's the process for that? What's the process for her to be responding to other elected officials? And then excuse me, if we don't get a response, like what is the response from our council people? Because I do believe there's one more meeting for city council before the positions switch. So Chuck won't be there anymore,
Okay.
and Mr. Witherspoon won't be there anymore. So it's like, okay, when the new administration comes in, when the new mayor comes in, are they standing on business about this? And then even county council, because the district attorney works in the courthouse. The county council meetings happen in the courthouse, so they're more connected to her than city council is. So I'm curious to know: is the county council going to adopt the same thing?
Mhm.
Because the district attorney hasn't spoken up, what I don't want to do is get to putting information out there that I'm not aware of or I'm not too knowledgeable of, and it comes back to bite me because I have been seeing a lot of new faces in familiar places that I frequent that I normally don't go. And like it's getting real interesting around here for me. So I don't want to be saying I don't want to be speaking as if I'm an attorney or a lawyer, but I would love to see how things play out after that resolution got passed and if they delivered it to her. And I'm also curious to see how serious everybody is about going to Harrisburg and following up on what Susanna Faulkner said. Because I had some conversation with some people, and we're planning something as well. So
that was the next thing. That's so funny. That was the next thing I was going to ask you about because I went back and I watched Suzanne Faulkner's speech again at the or city council meeting, and she wants this resolution to go to Harrisburg. She said she would drive, she would go with them. She wants city council to take this resolution to Harrisburg. For her standing up, and you had made the analogy last week about her being big sister, and coming up and the things that she knows, and we're looking at it like, yeah, what she said. Y'all heard what she said, what could come out of an action like this if they did take this to Harrisburg. What is our expectation?
I'm glad that you asked that question because for my expectation, if we were to go to Harrisburg, first and foremost, I think that they'll realize how serious we are
Yeah.
in regards to this. And then we might be able to speak to some some people in positions of power who can give us answers to valid questions that we are asking. Because again, when we like what she said, I hear you guys saying this isn't your job, this isn't your scope. But if we get to Harrisburg, then we can talk to people who are Department of Corrections. We can talk to people who are probation and parole, people who are at the top, state representatives, senators and stuff like that. And then once you make those announcements, it's public record. So now it's like, okay, these people aren't playing. And even if, again, we're not going down there to say, hey, investigate, close the case now, but it's more or less like nobody's communicating to us about the issues that we're having in Erie. And it's even to the point to where our elected officials in our city are being disrespected by our senators, are being disrespected by our governor, because like, okay, if you got a city council that's agreeing, hey, can we get a little bit of something? It was 7-0. Yeah. So it's more or less like, how do we go down there and show them that Erie, Pennsylvania is not to be forgotten? Marcello Woodard is not to be forgotten. There are some people who are up here advocating for justice for Cello. The entire city council is now in support of justice for Cello and transparency with the district attorney. Again, we're not trying to get her to rush the case. We're trying to get her to be transparent with us. So I feel like, or I believe, when we go down there, we are going to be able to get some resolution as far as what would be the steps, what will be the process. Hopefully we can get Kevin Seelinger fired, because our tax dollars should not be going to his employment and whatever other processes are. So I'm hoping that a lot of educated people can make this trip. A lot of people, and that's not, when I say that, I mean that with respect. When I say educated, I mean people who understand the law, people who understand civics. So when we get the opportunity to present questions, we can ask questions that are able to be answered, like how Jared come in there, like with the sunshine, like, you know what I mean? We need people who are willing to speak up and who are going to have some things to say that can't be shut down, so we can get some valid answers to the questions that we have. So when we go to Harrisburg, like I said, I talked to some people, and they're looking Chelsea, and she's talking to, I believe her and Dr. Titus was talking, looking at February after the inauguration, after everybody gets sworn in. So January might not be a good time, and then timing for people to try to kind of figure out, because the goal is to get a bus and a hotel, right? So people who want to stay and who want to ride a bus, they'll have to pay for their ride to the to have to pay for their own hotel room. But then on top of that, for people who don't feel comfortable riding on that bus, we still want to take as many people as we possibly can on the same day. So even if we going down the highway in a convoy where people in vans and trucks and they follow in a bus, but we want to make it to where the day that we go, we get as many people as we possibly can go. And then, I got friends in Harrisburg, I got friends in Philadelphia. So even if some of us who have friends in that area, we want them to come too. And we just want it to look like a large group of people from Erie, Pennsylvania, who's coming down here to Harrisburg, because we're tired of, going to our offices. And now it's to the point to where our elected officials are being ignored, to where it's like, is our entire city not important when tragedy happens? But when it's time to run for president, or when it's time to run for governor, they'll come stop the Erie 2, 3, 4 times. So we're not going to be used, and we're not going to be taken advantage of and then be ignored. So those are my goals and my expectations. When we do go down there, and you already know, give me the microphone. I'm going to talk to all the senators and all the reps and all. So I know I'm going to go hard about it when we get there. I know Malcolm go hard when we get there, So, and I know Cindy going to come down there, and Cindy, we put Cindy in Harrisburg, man.
She does her research.
Down there, we might have to make sure we know where she at all times, because she gonna come down there with some heat. They might try to lock her up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my expectations.
Well, there's power in numbers, man, and we have a lot of people that we are associated with that can definitely bring the noise. I think the Harrisburg trip is definitely a must, and it would go down in history. I just, when I'm doing my research, man, and I'm looking at this case in Fresno, California, and I'm looking at Cello's case here in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it's like night and day. You can't find much online about this case in Fresno, California. You don't see people doing any advocacy work. You don't see a specific Facebook page that is made for advocates that are fighting for justice. You don't see that anyone is looking for any type of justice. And maybe because the situation is slightly different now. He was unarmed, but he was shot and killed. Um, so there's some things that they got to work out based off of just that anyway. Um, but Erie, Pennsylvania is on the map. We have a specific number of Facebook pages dedicated to Justice for Cello. We have a podcast right here, Etcetera with the Woodards, that you can check out twice a week, that has been here from day one, that we're talking about the injustice that Cello has received. You have so many people that speak on behalf of the family and their own personal opinions down at these city council meetings, down at these county council meetings, that show up at these protests, that are infuriated with what has occurred. We have put Erie, Pennsylvania on the map for how you need to put pressure on the neck of upper management when it comes down to these particular things. And we have just begun. Going down to Harrisburg would be it would be huge. It's almost like a must-have. It's incredible the amount of reaction that we have had, and we still want more. We still want more because we're still not based on what we want on the national level yet, and we've been making a ton of noise. But I'm gonna tell you, we've been doing a number of podcasts. You did one. I think it was aired in Virginia. Malcolm did one. I did one from LA. Malcolm's doing this other one. Like, we've been doing a lot of different things. I saw earlier, I hope it was a certified page, but Michael had Malachi's post. I think it was posted on another Facebook page, but Kamala Harris forwarded Malachi's petition. We're getting out there, man. We are getting out there, and I'm really, really proud of the efforts that the community in Erie, Pennsylvania is doing to make some noise. So the Harrisburg trip, I think, is a fantastic idea, and we never know what could come out of that trip. I know you would be front and center, and I know you would be, one of the voices down there. How excited would you be to be in front of the people that need to hear from us, and you representing the community?
Honestly, like, it would be an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, and then especially to have people there to support, what is going on and what we've been going through. Like, I've been to city council to do it, county council, but I know those folks here. You know what I mean? Get on the internet talking to you like I know you. So I feel like a lot of people might be like, okay, here they go again. But like, when we go down there, right, and we're in there, and let's say, because the bus is a 52 passenger bus, let's say we 50 deep or we 75 deep, and it's like, okay, like, I've only been down there one time, went to the state capitol. I've been to Harrisburg a couple of times, but when you see the building and the outlay and the architectural designs, like, it's nice and it's beautiful. But then the room, I can see people being intimidating to even speak up to somebody. And then I've seen different people when they protest or whatever, they just do it right there on the stairs. So you might not always make it to the floor to where the speakers are,
Gotcha,
like that. But I feel like it's necessary and it would be important for me to do. I wouldn't be nervous or worried about it. And I just feel like, again, when you talk about, like, when I've been having personal conversations with Shamir and Shamil and hearing some of the stuff that they're going through, And then as far as me and Malcolm being out here, you being out here, like everybody that's been out here and going for as long as we going, it's only right that we continue to go as far as we can go, and we take it to the next level all the way until we get justice, till we get change. And then I also feel like it would be great for the community because we've been talking about uniting and we've been talking about, selling our differences and coming together. So I think this would be an event that would be like epic. I think people will understand how genuine we really are, how authentic people are, and how serious people are about seeking justice. And again, not to go down there and say, "Hey, arrest them, lock them up, throw away the key," but more or less like, "Yo, pay attention to what's going on up here and understand that now that we know how we're supposed to move, we will
Mm-hmm.
continue to move like that." And again, I said like, I don't think people realize how powerful of a message that resolution meant to our community, or to me anyway.
Yeah.
Because to me, it said, if you guys come down here and you do it the right way, you can get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So if we take that same energy to Harrisburg and then we go down there with our city council people, and I'm sure we might get some county council people to come, I feel like that would speak volumes to every city that's in the state, even the other counties in the state, because it's other people who are watching us, who are in Pennsylvania, like, yo, what's going on? What are you doing now? As we're making progress and we saying things like we're going to be the blueprint for injustice in Pennsylvania. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to go down there and speak to Justice for Cello, and to take all of our friends with us and all of our new loved ones and family members and speak up, because right now, everybody, whether we like to believe it or not, because we feel we haven't made national news,
Mm-hmm.
we are being nationally recognized
Right.
and acknowledged, and people are following us to pay attention to say, this is how we need to do things and this is how we should do things. So going down there and being able to speak from intellect and not emotion, and then having the support of the community behind me or beside me, and then having the support of some other speakers and some other organizers, I think it's important. I wouldn't be nervous about it. Nothing. I would be excited. I would be honored. And it would be a privilege for me to go down there and speak on behalf of the lack of justice that we have in Erie, Pennsylvania, for our community as a whole.
Yeah, it's important to bring this back up because of where we're at day 158. I talked about the other case out in California, and there, I believe, on, if my math is correct, day 348 that they're on right now, with no answers at all. And I'm lining that up because, I've always said this is a marathon, not a sprint. And we are just getting in the starting blocks right now. Even after all the work that we did, that was practice. That's practice. That's stretching out and working out and everything. We have yet to hear the flag drop down yet to go on this thing. So we're leading up to that. I want to talk about a few like possible reasons why there is this delay in the investigation. That we look at it as a delay because it is 158 days. That's a long time. That's a long time for anything. We talked about and you really got into this last podcast, and I want you to kind of dig into this again, right? So we do have the I think we've ordered 27 right to knows. It might even be up to 32 now. Cindy will correct me, but I believe it was 32 total right to knows on this particular case. And there are 4 documents in the right to know that show that Cello was supposed to be off of parole on January 18th of 2025. We
I
have,
got a question about that, because
yeah.
somebody asked me, are we able, or like whoever has that document, can it be released, or does people who want to know have to file for their own right to know? Do we know the answer to that question?
Um, I don't know. I know, and I don't know if I should say the media. They typically always try to order these particular types of reports
Mm-hmm.
because I was having a conversation with a young lady yesterday, and we're going back and forth about, um, you know, you want to say facts.
Hmm.
But I was trying to convey to her that when you're telling me this story and you're saying they said, me as a journalist, my next question is who's they? Who are you talking about? Who is they? And then when you can't answer that, and I keep asking because I'm not going to let you move forward until you explain to me who they is, right?
Right.
And then it comes down to, well, the media. So the media is they. All right. So now you're back into my wheelhouse. All right. As far as the media is concerned, in a case like this, the media can only release either interviews and get people's opinions based off of what they say and what they know, or if they are telling the story, they have to have factual information behind it. And of course, there's three statements out there from the district attorney. So if there's three statements from the district attorney, then the media is releasing information that Elizabeth Hurst wants the public to know.
Hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that that is all the information that's pertinent to the case. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So when they order the right to know, there's information in there that they could get a different angle on a different story, and then do some possible interviews, or maybe even call the DA, and the DA would decline an interview because that's probably part of the investigation. So they kind of have a one-sided story at that point, but they would be able to get the same thing that we have. Um, would someone be able to give that information to the media and the media unleash it? Um, yes, we could give it to them, but they probably would not air it because they didn't order it themselves. They would order it themselves. You know what I mean? Now, here on the podcast, the all the right to knows that we have ordered, I'm free to talk about it, right? And so when we're discussing four documents, as far as January 18th being the date, there's four documents stating that January 18th is the date. And in that right to know report, nothing states July 18th. So it's like it's kind of weird. It's like the burden of proof is on the state to show us that he was supposed to be released on July 18th, but she's supposed to be working for the people and also looking to file charges against Seelinger, but that's also someone that works on her team. There's where the conflict of interest comes in my opinion, especially with the podcast that they appeared in, right? So this leads me, that was a beautiful question because that leads me right into where you were last week when we start to talk about, all right, we're at 158 days. Devil's advocate, maybe DA Elizabeth Hurst is truly doing her job and doing a good job. All right, just roll with me for a second, right? If that is the case, she gets in and she sees the same thing that I do. She sees the same thing that everyone that ordered the right to know can see, is that he was supposed to be off parole on January 18th. Then why is he still meeting with a parole officer? Why was he not released? Where is the documents that shows that he's supposed to be on parole until July 18th of 2025? Somebody has to be responsible for this. And then she's finding out that he was imprisoned unlawfully. And then the snowball effect now starts to creep up. Who all knew about this? Who knew about this? Who was involved? Who was involved? And now this becomes, like you said, a state problem, right? So is it possible that that could be our reality where we're at right now? That could be a possibility of why she hasn't said much at all? Could that be a possibility of why she sent the initial report back to the state police to continue to investigate? I mean, we're poking holes into this thing here.
Absolutely, man. When you say devil's advocate, we can let's say we give her the benefit of the doubt, right? And let's
Right.
say we do speak on her behalf, and we just speculating. We just
Yep.
speculating. So
Just speculating.
boom, let's say she finds this information and she says, "Oh, this man was done with parole. Why was y'all following him? I need answers from y'all.
Yep.
I need to talk to who do I need to talk to?" And let's say they're giving her the runaround. It's a possibility they're giving her the runaround because she probably seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Go through the investigate. Oh, send this back to the state police. Y'all got to look at this because something's not adding up. So I'm gonna send this back to y'all, and y'all make it make sense before, because, and then again, when you throw in a podcast, because that is factual, she could also be trying to show him some mercy. Like, listen, man, this is not looking good for you, y'all. I don't know who you find you a lawyer.
Yeah.
Get the money up while you go to work. Don't spend no, because that man was supposed to be off parole. So if we were to give her the benefit of the doubt, she could have opened up some stuff to realize that, all right, if Kevin didn't do his documentation right and held Cello on parole unlawfully, then that means his supervisor is at risk as well. And then they have like I think it's a CCA as the acronym. They have a CCA audit, or whoever the auditors, if they missed that mistake, if they didn't catch that, ACA, it is ACA because it's accreditations.
Okay.
For all the audits. So now it's just like, yo, we need to backtrack everything. Any person who's seen this come across the desk or come through the system who didn't double check or who didn't verify it, she could be looking into all of them as well. And this could be a lot bigger than just one individual. This could potentially be a whole department. And that's just if we're giving her the benefit of the doubt.
Correct.
That's just if we're just, again, playing devil's advocate. She could be unwrapping a bunch of stuff. And then we also have to, again, include in that our governor has aspirations to be president of this country.
Right.
So when you have something like this, again, we might think it's far-fetched because we're hearing Erie and big things like this don't happen because it now sounds like a huge scandal. But scandals happen everywhere. And then when they come out, it's like, oh my God, I never thought that, or I never expected that. So regardless of what we're thinking, because we're looking at Erie like we know Erie like the back of our hands, and this could never happen here, it could potentially be that, yeah, she got a lot of people that she want to be arresting or subpoenaing or questioning or locking up. And that's probably why she ain't talking to no witnesses in the neighborhood.
Right.
That's probably why people ain't getting no phone calls who, everybody who been going out there coming to these meetings, because she probably talking to some other people who play a major role in all of this stuff that's going on, who could potentially be getting in trouble, going in jail, losing their jobs, or having to quit, resign, whatever the case may be. And again, this is just speculating off of playing devil's advocate to not seem like we just coming down on her hard the whole time. And that's why it's important. I believe it's important for us to tell us something so we don't have to keep doing this.
Right. Reading a message here Cindy put on here, which she says the parole board does not have to release everything to us, but the information we are receiving through multiple right to know requests is all we have to go on. And all of that released information shows January 18th, 2025. Again, we cannot guarantee that this is the only information, but it is the only information they continue to provide to us, which ironically incriminate them. So if they're providing that information to us, January 18th of 2025, that's what I'm going with, because that's what they provided to us, because they have all of the opportunity to clear this up and release information, but they have not. So all we have to do is to continue to be the devil's advocate, but also going by the information that has been provided to us. So this could be, this could actually end up being a major issue that she's uncovering. So let's give her some grace for a second, y'all, hypothetically speaking, right? What if she takes a whole bunch of people down in the state in order to bring justice to Cello? What if she does that? What if that's what's taking so long, but she cannot open her mouth about it right now because it could jeopardize the investigation? Now, I hope our assumption here ends up being correct. I hope it does, because if there's a lot of people that's corrupt, that's working for the state, that's trying to cover up some things that happen to Cello. They will cover up some things that will happen to somebody else, and they do not belong working for the state, plain and simple. And if she can find that information out and she handles it correctly, take your time and do it. Now I don't know if some communication based off of where you're at, like once a month coming out saying, hey, just want to let you guys know the investigation's continuing. We're getting closer. Something as an update or something like that so that we know that she hears us. I think that would be pretty cool because she's supposed to be working for the people, but it's like she's avoiding the people.
Right, right.
So,
And then and again, like I said, even if because she's refusing it, she told me that outright to my face, like, I'm not going to, speak up. And I said, like, well, then come to the meetings and let us talk to you. You know what I mean? So again, if she's standing her ground on that, by all means, be a woman of principle, be a woman of merit. If you feel as though, regardless of how much noise you guys make, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to stand my ground, I have to respect that. I don't have to like it to respect it. At the end of the day, there are public forums and public meetings where there are people who aren't on this podcast who are talking who she probably needs to hear. Or there are people who have a few choice words that they want to use with her that she should have enough courage and fortitude to sit there, you know what I mean, and listen and hear. And again, this is not to take no shots or no knocking, but this is just the reality of it. Like, you leave the 7 city council members out to deal with it, 7 city council members to deal with it, and we go down there yelling at them, screaming at them, talking about her. So it's just like, yo, why can't you? If you can't talk to us, you can't update us on any information. Can you listen to us? Can you look at us? I mean, at least have enough courage to, you know what I mean, be in a room. So again, I'm not sure what all of this stuff is, and it could be a potential she about to break down a whole bunch of stuff, and she just waiting so she can tell us, I told y'all so, and drop a bomb on us, or it could be she trying to help this man flee and elude, or they trying to figure out how we can beat it. There's so many different things to speculate. I'm not exactly sure what she can or she can't do, but I do know based on what I witnessed with my own 2 eyes that she can be present at a city council meeting where it has nothing to do with her. She doesn't have to speak. She doesn't have to be recognized or acknowledged. She can sit there, and it was a morning meeting. She could sit there for a morning meeting, or she can watch at least the first couple minutes, and then she can leave. So at least I feel like that would be a gesture of good faith. If you're not going to talk to us and give us any answers, then come hear us, and maybe her heart will be softened a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact that you brought that up because I think that, like you said, instead of them darts being thrown at those 7 up there, she can take some of those, so to speak, as well, and hear what the community has to say. Because I'm gonna tell you what, that last meeting, man, it was extremely powerful, and that would have been a great one for her to be at, for her to throw her ear out there and listen to where we're coming from. Cindy also says, what is also hypothetically, here's another scenario that possibly could happen, is if all of this corruption is found throughout the state, everyone that has dealt with them could have their case reviewed. Everyone that dealt with Kevin Seelinger could have their cases reviewed and possibly overturned. Like, this is opening up Pandora's if that's the case, right?
And anybody else involved with it. So even if it's Aaron Osborne in his caseload, and then
now that brings me to my next question.
So now we talking lawsuit.
Yes, I was gonna bring this up, man. I have him written down here because we've been kind of silent about this dude, and I don't want to give him any type of a pass here. What role does Aaron Osborne play in this scenario? In this investigation, based off of the limited information that we know, we don't know what he said when he went up and approached Cello at the car.
Yeah,
We don't know what he said. You know what I mean? We don't know what he did when Kevin Seelinger, quote unquote, stated he was being dragged. We don't know what he did. We don't know what he said to the Pennsylvania State Police during his interview. We haven't heard anything about Aaron Osborne. What's your take on this guy? So this guy,
I'm glad that you asked me that
yeah, yeah,
because the thing is, Aaron Osborne was the partner of Kevin Sealinger, who was there that day, right?
right,
Shamel Henderson was also the partner of Marcella Woodard that day.
yeah,
Her statement got released to the news. So the police released her statement.
yes.
Did they not take Aaron Osborne in for questioning?
And how come his statement wasn't released?
Right, because now if they did take him in for questioning and they did not release his statement, but they released her statement, they are showing bias
Yes,
to Sealinger and Osborne. Because again, if we're talking now, we just talking witnesses.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because if both of them aren't the quote unquote perpetrator, that
right,
means one of them are a witness, so we can release their name because he may not be under investigation. Because they
correct,
released Jamel's name and they released her statement. So if
correct.
that's the case, if Aaron Osborne was present and the Pennsylvania State Police took him in for questioning the same night that they took Shamel Henderson in for questioning, why didn't they release his statement the same day that video got released to show that he was present? Because if you realize it, they did not release Shamel's statement until we got that video on the news.
Right.
So
Right.
if that's the case, if you want to release her statement, why not release his statement? Because you would think if anybody, those two were the key witnesses, right?
Yeah.
So what did he say and where is he at? And then what's his thoughts on all of this? Is he in hiding with Kevin Sealinger? Is he in agreement with him? Is he opposed to him? Because there was a situation where some police officers, the situation what happened with the police, they the one cop told on the other cop, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, it was wrong. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, even if he feels like he was wrong to speak on it, if he feels like he was right, then maybe he should even speak on it then. But he was there, and he should also be a witness as well, and his statement should be getting released to the news. So again, maybe that's something that we need to ask the news to talk about. Like, hey,
Yeah.
how did one person's statement get released and not the other? We got witnesses here. We want to know the other witness statement. They only gave one statement.
And we have none of their names. You know.
Right. And if that's what I mean, like, is Shamel the only witness? Because the newspaper had no problem releasing it.
Right.
The Pennsylvania State Police had no problem releasing what she said on that night. So who else did they talk to? Give us the rest of the information then.
You know, and who should be held accountable for releasing a false statement by Shamel? Because we already know from Shamel that what they released was not true. I mean, this thing could get deeper and deeper and deeper. You know, I just don't understand. I'm like you. You release supposedly what Shamel said, but you don't release anything what Aaron said, and so going forward, because I think we need to involve Aaron Osborne in our conversations a little bit more, because this cat does not get a free ride. I mean, if you look at it like this, right, and I'll put you and I in this scenario, right? If you and I are together and I kill someone, you're an accomplice. Aaron is an accomplice, and I would love to know what he said. I would love to know what he said to Cello when he went up to that car door and came back and got back in his vehicle. There's a lot of things that we're not privy to yet that I hope is going to end up coming out, because we can continue to poke holes in this thing based off of what we know, but we know for a fact that they did not release any names and they did not release a statement from Aaron Osborne, who was there and witnessed this tragic incident.
We know who they did, and then we know who they did release a crate, like Cindy said, supposed statement. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
if they were both witnesses, why wasn't both statements released?
Absolutely. I mean, and like you said, there's bias, and it brings me back to the two words that I mentioned last podcast: systemic racism. We have not gotten over that yet, and everybody in Erie knows that there is systemic racism in Erie, and this proves a little bit of it. It really, really, truly does. And I know, we don't want to go down the road of, color, black, white, this and that, and everything. That's the fact is that Cello was black and Kevin is white and Aaron's white and Elizabeth is white and everybody. I mean, I could go on and on. However, there is systemic racism that we have seen for years. This isn't the first time that this has come up, or this is definitely not the first time that this has happened. You know, based on systemic racism. So that I think is something that we're fighting against. But bottom line, we're looking at what's right and what's wrong. It is not right for them to release a supposed statement
Right.
by Shamel to fit their own narrative, to spin the story, to get all these people out there thinking that he was being dragged and therefore he was justified in shooting when he wasn't. He put his hand on the door. That's it. He put his hand on the door. And I think, like I said last time, that was his excuse to shoot. I think it was probably planned. These are my thoughts. These are my thoughts. I thought it was planned. I just don't see what could have occurred in 12 seconds
Right.
when Kevin gets out the car and goes over there and you shoot 3 times. What
I
the
mean,
hell
and the
happened
thing
in 12
is
seconds?
like, and if his partner's statement was, yeah, he pulled off and drug him, they could have released that and been clear cut and dry. Like, okay, well, they both said it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Kevin said it and Aaron said it. So it must have been true, but they ain't even saying he said it. They just
Right.
saying what Kevin said, supposedly.
You
Because
know,
we don't even know where that statement came from that somebody was being drugged by the car. They never released the name.
that's true.
Wait, who said that?
And they never really released who shot and killed him.
There's no really. They did not release who shot and killed him.
So let me ask you this. What if it was Aaron that shot and killed him?
Okay.
That's another scenario we haven't talked about. Like, so Aaron's not the one being dragged. But was Aaron in the car already? I think he was in the car already, based
Oh,
on
Aaron was in the street.
he was in the street still.
Aaron was in the street. Okay, so if I were to speculate, right? I'm just going from what I've seen, play it all out.
Yeah.
So you got Aaron Osborne standing behind Cello's car, but it's not Cello's pro agent. Cello see him. Oh, what's up? Who are you?
Yeah.
So you see him, and then from the video I seen, you see Kevin Sealer get out the passenger seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, it looked like he had something in his hand.
Yes.
So if I'm already talking and I'm sitting here looking at one parole agent who is not my parole agent,
Right.
and I see my parole agent come around the car and he has a gun in his hand. Whoa, what's going on? Because they said he was shot in his forearms, and you know what I mean? So it's like, whoa, the car moved because why did his parole agent get out with a gun and come shoot? Like,
Right.
why, you know what I mean? Like, and the other officer was there. Why didn't they both shoot? Why wasn't it shots fired from multiple guns? Why wasn't it stop? I'm giving you a direct order, because when I'm giving you a direct order is a real statement.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a direct order. So again, why was no direct orders or nothing like that? But from what I saw in the videos, it looked like Kevin Seelinger got out of that vehicle, if he was in the passenger seat, with a gun in his hand. He walked around there. I'm not exactly sure what the reason or the intent was. But then again, if we go back all the way to he was supposed to be off parole, and that's premeditated murder. Again, it's just speculation. But if he was supposed to be off parole in January, you stalked this man for 6 months.
Yep.
Like if he was off parole, and you meeting with him, like you're meeting with him, you're stalking him. You're intimidating him. You know what I mean? He's falsely in prison because he doesn't even realize that he's supposed to be off parole because you done made up some imaginary story that your max date is July 18th. So now you got to answer my phone call.
Right.
Now I get to show up at your house. Now I get to show up at your girlfriend's house. Now you got this curfew. So what you're doing is you stalking me, you're following me, I'm pretty much being kidnapped. I'm a prisoner because I should have been done, but you made up this false narrative to make me stay on, and you holding me against my will. So it can get very, very ugly. And I guess that would go all the way back to, with the DA. If she's discovering, like, if we're just assuming these things as average people who live in the world, and this lady studied law, This is her job, and this is what she's been doing. Please believe you me. We're not coming. We ain't pulling out no thoughts out the sky that she ain't already thought about or considered. And we probably throwing enough information out there for her to be like, they see what's going on. They just want me to confirm it.
Absolutely.
Because we ain't just making this stuff up. Like, so again, man, all of this stuff that we've been saying for the last 158 days or 5 months, like, I'm pretty sure she's aware of it. I'm pretty sure that she knows that this was a false imprisonment or unlawful imprisonment. This was stalking.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and then this was outright murder, because for 6 months to tell a man, for 6 months to watch a man, for 6 months to have a man check in, and then you shoot and kill him. If that man was not on parole and his max day was in January, and you kept him past January, kept him in prison, you stalked him, and you killed him, that is premeditated murder. Again, that's just my opinion.
Yep.
We don't know how true these things are until we know how true they are. But that's just my take on at least that part of it.
Yeah. I want to just take a second and say this, because Shamel has been such a sweetheart. She tunes in, she watches all of our episodes, and a lot of the times when we're talking about the incident, she has to relive the incident when we're talking about it, and she's still such a trooper. So Shamel, I know you're out listening to us. We are doing this for many, many reasons, and we got your back 100%. I know that she just confirmed that they lied on her about that statement, and she confirmed that Kevin was the one that shot Chella. Okay, so that's another positive thing that we as a community have, is we have an eyewitness that was there, that is speaking to us, even though they won't release any information about the other two people. You know what I mean? So, Shamel, thank you so much for being so gracious and letting us try to continue to poke holes in this thing and talk through this, because the math ain't mathing for me, DC. It's not, man. I've lost a lot of sleep under this. I know you have. I know so many people that are watching right now have lost a lot of sleep trying to play this in your mind. When you see that video, you run it through your mind a lot of the times, and sometimes you forget. That's why I was forgetting that Aaron was still outside of the car when that happened. Like, this dude doesn't get a pass. He does not get a pass. The video might not have been the best video, but it's the video that we have.
Right.
But the audio worked perfectly. The audio worked perfectly, and you hear nobody saying, "Stop, I'm being dragged,
help,
turn the car off." No, nothing like that. So if you call what you hear being dragged, something's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Because if I got a partner with me and a car is dragging me, yo, bro, help.
Yeah.
Or oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And not to laugh, but
yeah,
if I'm being drugged by a car, there's going to be something being said. I'm not just going to think, oh, car is moving, let me pull my gun out and shoot to kill. Like, no, that's just, but I don't have a killer instinct either. So
yeah. And that could be the difference, but it's also common sense, and I stand by my statement that I said last show. Putting his hand on the car. We talk about this being premeditated for 6 months. This is a part of it. This was the opportunity presented itself. He put his hand on the car to justify shooting him. He put his hand on the car to justify shooting him. And this is the story that they're flowing with. And it was very easy for them to twist Shamel's story, which they lied on her, to fit their own narrative. And when they came out with that, and we already had, known what went on because many had talked with Shamel already, when that statement came out and hit the news, and I'm reading this, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. They're just gonna sit there and lie on her like this? Like, this is it's ridiculous. So that put me in a position of cover up. Are they trying to cover this whole entire thing up, or is it too early for the DA to put her arms around this thing and really get a handle of it? Because nothing had been sent back from the state police yet at that time. It was just the statement, the initial statement being released. But I'm gonna tell you what, man. I really hope. Um, I hope that there's some issues in the state. I hope that there's major issues in the state, and I hope Elizabeth Hurst does her job to the best of her ability and shakes this whole thing up and brings this whole state system down that was wrong. And all of these other cases have to be reviewed. And many people that were done wrong that we don't even know about are let go free because of the shady system that I think we have. That is what I'm hoping happens. I know time's going to tell us whether that's true or not, but that's my hope, man. I mean, what do you think about
I
that,
mean,
dude?
honestly, that was one that I never even thought to consider until we talked about it tonight. You know what I mean? Because again, there have been people who reached out to me like, "Oh yeah, Sealinger was my parole, or he is my parole," and I got when all of this stuff is going on, and you've heard those stories, so it could be like one of them class action lawsuit type of things. Anybody who's ever been on parole, who's like, again, when this all comes out, let's say
Yeah,
it's Sealinger's fault, and let's say a supervisor whose name is John Smith is his fault. But let's say John Smith got 15, 20 years in, and before
yeah.
John Smith was a supervisor, he was a parole agent. And let's
Mm-hmm.
say some people like, yo, I remember John, he did me dirty. So now
Mm-hmm.
we got another round of individuals coming and saying, yo, I served time, or I was a technical parole violator because Sealinger lied on me and I had to go back to jail and I had to lose my job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now we talking damages, loss of damages for wages. Then we talking time that I missed from my family. So now we talking pain and suffering. So again, this could potentially be something that has an impact on a lot more people than just Cello and his family. This might
Right.
have an impact on any person who's ever been on probation or parole underneath Kevin Sealinger, or any person who's ever filed a complaint against him in Albion.
Yeah.
And when those complaints got filed, where did they go?
Yeah.
Who read them? Did they throw them out? Because now we need to talk to the lieutenant. Now, hold on. Now we need to talk to the sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Then we need to talk to the LT. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then we need to talk to the captain. Then we need to talk to the deputy, and then we need to talk to the superintendent of the prison. So again, when you think about something like this, and you think about how many levels or layers it can impact, if we find out that this system is corrupt, and
Yeah.
our district attorney, maybe she is doing that, and let's just keep her in our prayers, and let's just say that maybe that's what she's doing for us. And maybe justice for Cello, for her, looks like justice for any person who has ever done wrong from a corrupt system. I
Yeah.
don't think she signed up to be a district attorney to just work in a corrupt system. I could be wrong because I do not know her. But let's just give her the benefit of the doubt, and let's say she is working hard and she's about to take down the entire DOC, or at least that link of change from Kevin Sealinger up to his trainers and supervisor, his mentors, or whatever the case may be. So that I never thought to consider that until tonight. But I mean, I know we talked a lot about how the trail goes,
Yeah.
but we didn't talk about how impactful it could be if we find out this dude has been jerking people for quite some time, and to the point to where he got comfortable enough to where he's like, you know what? I done sent people to jail. I done
Mm-hmm.
robbed people of their fines. I done robbed, you know what I mean? He might have some people in his case who still sell drugs. He go in their pocket, take them to where the point to where he just feel like, I wonder if I can kill a man.
Well, and think of it like this too. He may have gotten away with this a number of times, but the result had never been death. And with the result being death right now, this takes it to the whole next level. And I don't know if he got too comfortable, my opinion. I don't know if he got too comfortable where he was just thinking, I can get away with anything. I'm just gonna put my hand on this door and I'm gonna say it's self defense because I was being dragged and they're gonna roll with it. Like, I mean, people, there's some demented people out there, and there's some
There are.
people that think this way. And if he has already um, reached into the pot, so to speak, time and time again, then you start to get um, some balls. You
Hmm.
start to get some balls through this process, and you think you're untouchable because you're on that side of the law. And there's a lot of corrupt people. Now, for the amount of people, police officers, parole agents that are corrupt, there are some damn good police officers and some damn good parole officers out there,
Absolutely.
right? This is not an attack on the entire industry because there's some great people. We have family members that are in law enforcement. That is not the case. But if it sounds like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a motherfucking duck. I'm
It
trying
ain't
to tell you.
chicken. It
I'm
ain't a
trying to
chicken.
tell you, right? And that's what it is. So if this dude has done it before and he thinks that he can get away with it, he has he's got a big head. He's got some confidence behind him, and I can guarantee you, if that is the case, cuz he probably still thinks right now he got away with it. But
I'm sure
I
he
can,
does.
you know what I'm saying? I can only pray that the DA is going to take her oath seriously and do her job. That's the only thing we can hope, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I do hope that's the case, man. As she's asking for patience, and as we're asking for transparency, I want her to, it would be a perfect, like, I told you motherfuckers to chill type of moments if she just came and was like, y'all want to do all that yelling and
Yeah,
screaming.
yeah,
Look what I done did for y'all. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that would be one of, I would love a I told you so moment from
I
Miss Sh-
want it. Yes, I
I
want
would
it.
love and I told you so. If she's like, listen, y'all came out there, y'all done blasted me on the internet, and I'm working for y'all. Y'all done came to the courthouse and I'm working for you. Y'all done came. This is what I was doing while y'all was like, she can talk trash if that's what she can say while y'all on the internet running y'all mouth for doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. I done got 12 people arrested and we ain't got 20 people free from jail. I told
Mhm.
y'all to shut up. I would be like, you know what? We should have listened.
Yeah,
So if we giving her the benefit of the doubt, let's just say she's asking us to be patient because she's opening up a lot more doors than what we know. And we, as we saying justice for Cello, and we saying we want change out here, she
hmm
could be potentially changing the system for a lot of different people's. And if she does, then we'll give her credit. We'll give her kudos for that. But in the meantime,
yeah,
here we are. We ain't going nowhere. So we can play devil's advocate and we can have these conversations amongst ourselves just to let people know that we're not anti-district attorney. We're not anti-law. We
right.
just want justice. So in the meantime, as we think, we can be objective and we can be subjective. We can be in the forest or we can look over top of it from a balcony, 5,000 feet up, and look at the forest and just see what's going on down there in all of these different perspectives. So at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we can think either way that we want to think. I hope that what you just said is correct, and hopefully she's working so she can say, I told all y'all.
yeah,
So shut up and leave me alone. And I will shut up and leave her alone if she prove us, if that's what she's doing to prove us
yeah,
wrong, to get us to shut up. I will high five and we'll make a long post about her, like how we tore her apart.
yeah,
We'll give her flowers. Hell,
yeah.
we'll throw her a party. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because it's the right thing, you know. And when we talk about Seelinger and him, you know, reaching in the pot, you know, for the first time, you know, Jerry Roberts' comment he puts on here. It's called behavior escalation. Start of doing some small illegal things, then do all on something major. It's like a kid who starts off stealing candy and then move on to robbing people and stores and then banks. It escalates through the process. You get comfortable with where you're at. You get comfortable doing the things that you shouldn't be doing, and that could be where Kevin Seelinger is at. And I'm sorry, but if he has been involved in this in the past and currently, and Aaron Osborne is his partner. He knows what he's about. You know what your boy is all about. You can choose to be with him or choose not to be with him. You know what I mean? And that would make him an accessory. Plain and
And
simple.
who's to say he won't do it again?
Absolutely. Oh man, there's got to be some terrified people out there that dealt with him, and you know I still remember seeing there was another video that was surfacing around Facebook where he was actually chasing a white dude. He had his stuff on and he had his gun out, and the guy is screaming, "Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me!" I'm like, is this like normal behavior for a parole agent to be? It didn't even seem. I'm like, is this an episode of Cops? I'm like floored. Why is it the same dude? And I know I've talked with his supervisor from when he was a cop, a correction officer in training down at Albion, and he wasn't passed through the program by this person because of the things that he did with a lot of the black inmates, saying the N word, all kinds of different stuff. Now, this is what sources tell me. This dude has a past. He has a past, and I know professionally that has to be something. Uh, you know, uh, we talked about this before, man. People can get fired from their job because they have tardiness issues. But yet you can kill somebody and still go to work? How the hell does that happen?
I got fired from a job from not wanting to sign a performance improvement plan.
You gotta be a pip. You gotta be kidding me.
I refused to sign my PIP, and they said, "Well, you don't got to be here." This man can kill somebody and get reassigned.
It's amazing. It's a and this is why I'm glad we have this podcast, DC, because we get to talk about this stuff out loud. We get to say the things that people are thinking. You get let go for not signing a PIP, but we'll see you tomorrow. You killed somebody last night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be on time. I don't understand that. How does that even balance? How does that even? And I'm definitely not laughing at this situation.
Listen, he probably going to the work Christmas party and everything.
Yes.
They're probably gonna be happy to see him at the work Christmas party that they have every year. Yep. Wherever they having it at this year, Kevin's gonna be there, and if he has a family, they'll be there. And if they have a Santa for the kids, his kids will be able to spend time with the workplace Santa while he goes and parties and drinks with his friends and he's and ha-has.
It's crazy, man. I mean, we still haven't figured out where he's working yet. So, everyone, we still need you guys to work those numbers.
Oh, I'm glad that you said that. Somebody inboxed me and said,
okay,
if you call and ask the HR, they might not give you information. All you got to do is just call and ask, is he there?
Yes. And,
you just call, hey, can I speak to Kevin Seelinger?
Yeah.
And they might say, he's not here today.
Yes.
Or may I ask who's calling? Because he's a state employee, they're not going to say he does. I mean, we can't confirm or deny because he has no. So you can call for anybody who did make the phone calls or you double back around. Just ask to speak to him. Hey, call in to speak to Kevin Seelinger.
Yep. We used to do that to verify employment at our job. If you just pick up the phone and ask to speak to the customer that you're trying to verify the employment with and ask if they're there. And if they say, no, he's not in today, he'll be in on Saturday, then he still works there. Oh, you got the wrong location. He doesn't work here anymore. You got your answer. You know what I mean? So that's the best thing to do. I know what we wanted people to do is to put pressure on these jobs and everyone calling and asking for him and to start some hell because this dude don't need to be working. He doesn't, plain and simple. But we would love to track him down and find out where he is actually
working. His work location.
Yes, where he's actually
track
working.
His work, yeah. We're good. We love to track his work location down.
Absolutely. And also, is Aaron still at the same place? Do we know that? Do we know where he's working at? Because it would be good to know. It just would be good to know. So we got some work to do, man. Hopefully we can plan this Harrisburg trip in the next couple months. I know you said January is going to be kind of tough, but maybe February might be the date. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to be working on putting that together, man. But that sounds so exciting, man. I hope we can get this thing rolling. And DC, I hope everything that we're talking about and we're speaking freely and we're giving our assumptions and we're poking holes in a lot of different things. And I hope this generates good conversation with people and people can start thinking about it. And you go to work tomorrow and you got the the coffee break conversation
Hmm.
about these things, and that's what we want to do, man. We want to keep the main thing the main thing, keep cellos front and center, and make sure that everybody knows that we're smart and we know what's going on, and y'all need to know that we know what's going on collectively as a community. So you're not pulling any wool over our eyes. Don't think that at all. DC, parting words before we go.
County council meeting this week. Make sure everybody shows up at the Erie County Courthouse. We'll be in there on I believe it's back on Tuesday. Well, I'll make sure to get that posted tomorrow. But
Okay.
outside of that, man, we just need to continue to build, continue to unite. Like I said, more and more people are coming together. It's a very diverse group of individuals who are seeking justice for Cello, receiving a lot of support. Oh yeah, and those decals. I got to go pick those decals up from Geo tomorrow. And Sean John said I'll be able to drop those off at Larkin's Market. So I'll make a status about that as well when we get the Justice
Okay.
for Cello decals picked up.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be for grabs at Larkin's Market on 22nd and German Street.
Okay.
But yeah, no, other than that, man, again, we shout out to Malcolm Pulliam. Congratulations, Malcolm. Hopefully you enjoyed your birthday weekend.
Yeah.
I see Shamel all in the comments. Shamel, I love you. Keep your head
Yeah.
up. We're gonna continue to fight strong for you.
Absolutely.
It's Justice for Cello. And also there's a status that I shared on Facebook, and I'm gonna post a schedule as well. But EJ Fight dropped the schedule in the comments when I said it looks like we're going to Harrisburg. So
Mm-hmm.
he dropped the schedule of what's going to be taking place down there. So we'll share that as well. We're looking early February to go. So everybody kind of be on the lookout for that. Check your calendars if you got time in early February. Or if you got some PTO time for the new year and you would love to join us coming to Harrisburg, make sure you save us at least 8 hours. But at the end of the day, man, you know, my closing statement can be 5 minutes or it can be 35 minutes. But I appreciate all the love, man.
That's all good, man. Well, we appreciate it. Props out to Malcolm again. Congratulations on your award. Tune in and check out Malcolm. Check out James Wilborn as well on the West Wednesday at 7 p.m. Facebook and YouTube. And of course, if you missed this whole episode, you can go back on my YouTube channel at Etcetera with the Woodards and check it out. Please share, subscribe, like, do all those kind things, man. And then DC and I will be back. Let's see. I don't know if we'll make it this week, man. I know Malcolm's got his podcast, man. Let's get.
Oh yeah. We gotta be locked in on Malcolm.
Yeah, we gotta watch him. So probably next Sunday night, around 8 o'clock, depending on bowling, right?
Yeah.
Still waiting for that 300 game, baby.
Yeah, man, if I bowl 300, I'm gonna be on an ESPN podcast too. Me and Stephen A.
I'll be your special reporter, man. You can take me with you. That's what's up. Well, thanks, DC. For DC, I'm Craig Woodard. Hey, thank you guys for watching tonight. Enjoy your weekend and have a wonderful week this week. Take care.